Hello world. Welcome to OnlyFillers Podcast. The letters to your hamburger. I'm LDJ, and with me always it's Steve, aka Sabusa TV, aka the Colombian Dr. Evil. What's up, fish?
Not terrible. Good. It's all good. Just wondering about always what you're gonna come up with. You wake up in the morning and do a little hustle with the mirror, I bet. But good. Everything's good. We're gonna talk about a little bit of our at least situation going on with Microsoft or
Microsoft.
Xbox per se, however you wanna call it or however you wanna see it, because they have been trying to expand, but maybe not in a way that you will expect.
To happen. Yeah, let's see what happened. So we're gonna talk about the what's going on with Xbox. So it's gonna be a lot of information dump, if you will. But before that, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Please hit the like button on YouTube if you're watching, and subscribe to the channel. So let's keep growing. So yeah, subject today Xbox, and so let's start with our little information exposition, if you will. So we're gonna share with you guys some of the, let's call it, of the highlights or the titles of what's been going on with Xbox since 2022. So they have been, let's say, in a shaky position. So let's just start with Microsoft layoffs, right? So as many might know, right, from the news, Steve, Microsoft announced 10,000 layoffs this year, 2023. And this has impacted Xbox division that it's led by Phil Spencer. And obviously it's always hard when people are let go, but also it's interesting to look at what how it impacted Xbox. So the company has let go, lay off from the Studio 364 that is mainly in charge of Halo, and some also from, I think, in Bethesda, but there were few layoffs in Bethesda. But it has definitely impacted Microsoft gaming division as a whole, which is just to start a bad place when you take into account everything that we're going to talk about gaming, how games have been uh, coming from outside. Um, so it's being slow, right? But so this doesn't help what we're gonna show. But this is the most recent news coming from Microsoft, right? They lay off. Any comments on the layoffs, man?
Yeah, there's one in particular. I just sent you a link, which is really, I know, it's such a big coincidence because they are announcing 10,000 layoffs, right?
Yeah,
But look at the
there
number of
is
how many employees has Activision Blizzard actually.
10,000 roughly,
Yeah, let's call it
9,900. Yeah,
10,000. So they are laying off 10 people they actually have, but they are in the process of trying to acquire Activision Blizzard. So I don't know. I don't know.
it
You do the math. You tell me.
it's weird. I never thought about that. Yeah, I don't know if we should put our thin hats, but um so it's something to think about. But when I see all these layoffs coming from Meta, from Twitter,
Mm,
from AWS, from Microsoft, what I really think about in the first place, it's the corporate BS, let's call it, because these companies, these public companies, these corporations, they do not operate like a normal business. Let's say that if you and I just start, I don't know, an hamburger business, right? And we take out the filler, the lettuce, obviously, and we start doing okay. And every business schools tries to teach you the same thing, right? What's the most important thing? It's the bottom line, right? What's your revenue and what's your margin, and that you are making a profit, and if you're making a profit, your business is successful, and you are growing, right, and you are doing good. But corporations, they do not operate in the same way. What they are always trying, especially these corporations, what they are always trying to show, its growth, right? It doesn't matter if you are making a lot of profit, as Microsoft is and as Xbox is because of Game Pass, and we will talk about that. What they want to show in their quarterly um, shareholders meeting, it's not only profit, it's grow. And it's not like they have not been growing, they have even grow from 2022 to 2023. It's just that they want to show, like, I don't know, double digit growth. So they want to show like, oh, we're growing at 10%, and always growing and always growing, instead of just saying, hey, we grew up only 5%, but it's a grow, it's okay, we are making a lot of money for you guys. So it's, for me, it's the corporate BS of always trying to show like double digit growths, instead of just having a healthy environment, a healthy company. So they are cutting off these 10,000 people, just to reduce, in my opinion, right? This is my sense, to
Mm.
reduce their cost and be able to show in the final quarterly report, like a growth, uh, quote unquote, a growth, just to be able to say, hey, we are double digit growth. That's what I get from this. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's really it's a complicated situation, and it's a as well not only a complicated situation but a topic as well, because we're talking about 10,000 people that are getting out of a job that they were obviously counting on for whatever expenses, livelihood, anything in general, pensions. I don't know, 42K, whatever pension
Yeah,
plan or retirement plan you had, and I don't
buying
know where you.
Evas.
Right, and I don't know where you get like, oh well, sorry, you're not making the cut. Uh, but at the same time, the company keeps growing, keeps showing profits, but it's only numbers for the shareholders, and they are the only ones that matter. And people are getting screwed just to please this head of the, I don't know, of the pyramid that is really small, obviously,
Hmm.
and they are reaping all the profit, all the benefits that these hardworking people are from, with jobs from 9 to 5, and sometimes overtime and even holidays and weekends. And because developing games are they are getting more complex and expensive as time
For
passes,
sure, for sure,
and
man.
they're gonna keep growing in expenses. It's not like it's going to go down anytime soon.
Yeah.
At least I don't have a I don't think so. Um, so it's hard. It's hard. It's harsh. It's a competitive market, and it's a sad. It's just a sad situation to be, obviously. And I don't know. I'm sure we're gonna get to more points about that.
Yeah, especially in the gaming industry, where you need a lot of manpower, right? You need
Mm,
developers, you need artists, you need a lot of stuff, and you need to have like an environment of creativity, right? Because this is a media, still this is a media industry, which you need creative people. So having these types of massive layoffs is definitely not like building a safe place for your creatives to work, right? And this is impacting 343. We mentioned the studio behind Halo, a studio that is already struggling, right? So
mm,
this article, for example, that I'm showing right now from Forbes, is talking about how 343 has, for example, absolutely no plans to continue Master Chief's story on the Halo Infinite world, and they are only gonna focus on the multiplayer side, in the PvP side, and they are laying off people that are key to the Halo universe, but the franchise is as a whole struggling, right? This same article is talking about how the TV series, the Paramount TV series, is really struggling. It's everybody hates it, and so it's really tough to put your mind around it, right? So Halo not doing so great. I don't know if you have checked. If you go to Metacritic, it's not that bad. So users give it like a 7.9. But this is a 2021 release. But it came out a lot with a lot of bugs, a lot of imperfections, and a lot of promises. I don't know if you saw that, but Microsoft promised like we are gonna continue developing Halo Infinite. So they released an unfinished product, a rushed product, like every corporate video game right now. And they promised we're gonna fix it and we're gonna keep on continuing developing. And they said we're gonna have like a 10-year plan or something like that.
It was exactly. I was gonna mention that it was. They show a 10-year plan with specifics and
Who
updates.
cares about 10 years, man? You're
I want
investing
my
in,
game now.
yeah, you're investing in this game. Maybe not in money because maybe you have Game Pass, but you lose all of your intention to play a video game that is halfway done. So these games are, especially these corporate rushed games, are coming up with bugs, unfinished, with not enough content, especially when you are trying to build a multiplayer, a PvP game. You need stuff to do. You need this high quality, and they are not hitting the mark, right? So for example, this guy is just hitting spot on. Major issues not showing. Um, it was just rushed for Christmas, says this guy, right? It crashes, the syncs, lacks of playlist selection for multiplayer. So yeah, for the Halo fan base, this was a disgrace, and that's how this guy ends. It's a disgrace. Have you heard or seen about this? What have you
Yeah,
said?
I actually I got something I also shared to you. You can check it over there while I give you what I think about. And hate it is such a weird place because Halo is basically, if you think about it, Halo is Xbox. That's how it is. Is basically the mascot of the
If
of
I were to put it in PlayStation like terms, for me, Halo it's the Kratos or the Game of War of Xbox, right? It's
and
like
is yeah, and Halo's is Mario's Nintendo. Is
yeah,
like that.
something like
Is
that. Is mhm.
you the freaking character is green, the same as the logo. It doesn't get more close to that, and these companies are focusing so much in live services, which is insane because now everything has to be a live service.
Wow.
Halo, uh, Fortnite obviously is one of the most the true king right now because everyone thinks they can copy that model and just use them for themselves, but they don't understand that the people that at Epic Games, I don't know, they are updating this freaking game every single day, no matter what. Something is happening, and they're putting in the work and making it smooth, making it good, making it look great, making improvements, and they listen to feedback. But then you get companies, multi-million-dollar companies, trying to put out a live service, but not doing it in a right way, which is to this
Or
day
not even a live survey. Any game,
mm,
if it doesn't
any
have to
game in
be,
general, right?
yeah, it doesn't have to be a live service. If you are rushing and pushing for just deadlines that are not feasible for your workers, and you just rush with a half baked product like we
Mm,
have seen time and time again, it's just gonna tank with your customers, with your fans, right? It's just
mm,
the corporate decision, and this is one of the main problems of having all these developer houses under one big head is that these corporations they don't have patience, right? You remember the old Blizzard used to say it's gonna release when it's done, right? It was like their mantra, their model. It has
Yeah,
when you are bought by a corporation, that mantra doesn't exist. It's gonna release when we need it to release, so we can prove like quarterly sales
quotas and all that, and
quotas. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And people don't. Many people, especially people born, I don't know, maybe around uh, 2000 or maybe a little bit closer to our date, may say 2010, they won't understand something that used to be a fact, and it was that when you release a game, it was released, and if you fucked up on the release because you had to ship every single game and there was no way to update them, uh, you were screwed. Your
yeah,
reputation went to hell.
yeah.
People won't buy your games after you mess up because you spent cash on something and obviously you lost it because you didn't like it or whatever, or the game is not running as it should. But now these live services and basically every game in general, like you say, they use these updates as an excuse to make the releases no matter what, and they say, "Oh,
Cyberpunk,
uh,
cyberpunk. Yeah,
yeah, no,"
enough
like,
said.
"Oh, we will fix that." Like, why do I have to like? And basically,
Beta test for
uh,
you. Why do I have to test your game for you and then tell you what to fix and wait for your fix? It doesn't make sense. It
yeah,
doesn't
but
make sense from a
it's
customer
so sad that it
perspective.
got to the point that you expect them not to release a final, a complete product. You're expecting them to release something bad, and in my head, I'm like, in many cases, not in all, but in many cases, you go like, the game is gonna be bad, so let's give it maybe a month or two, so they fix whatever they need to fix. Which, yeah, but
It
that's not.
doesn't it doesn't work. In my opinion, it doesn't
This,
work. You know why? Because games are, as an industry, we are oversaturated with options. You know,
mm,
for example, you already know what you're gonna play next, and after that game, you already know what's next and next, and it doesn't take into account everything that is launching right now. For example, and if you have the ability to buy everything that is launching, so you're
mm.
always gonna be looking for something else, and you lose that momentum, you lose that breath. So this article that you share with me, like, if Halo Infinite it's way lower than Battlefield 2042, which was a bad launch game, it,
Was one of the worst launches.
it's really struggling. It's really, and you know it through all the internet. You see it like Halo Infinite. Halo fans are pissed. Halo fans, if you just do a little dig, they
Mm.
are mad at Microsoft because they have screwed this franchise over and over again. And we're not even talking about the Halo Paramount Plus TV series, which also sucks. So they are mad. So this is like their flagship franchise, as we said, and it's tanking right now every way you wanna see it. So Halo Infinite, it's not doing good. Um, Xbox as a platform for an exclusive are just game releasing is not doing good. What was the last Xbox game release that you can remember, man?
I don't know. They usually, well, these days they don't have like that particular game. Don't you guys have phones? Says Andres on the chat. Yeah, I mean, don't be surprised if they release maybe a Halo for something mobile phone or some crap like that. But anyway, so as you going back to your question, I can't remember. I can't remember the last time like, oh, this game. Oh, I wish I had an Xbox to play this game. That was the what you used to
Say,
think back in the day. Yeah, right.
yeah.
Because uh, I don't have a Nintendo Switch. I wish I had one to maybe to play, I don't know, Super Smash or Legend of Zelda. Those are the kind of titles that many times makes the customer switch to another console just to have a taste of it. But right
Yeah.
now, whatever you can get on Xbox, you can get it on a PC, basically, yeah, with their new system, or most likely it will be available in on PlayStation or even Switch.
Yeah, but not only that. So look at this slate, right? This was
Mm,
2022, supposedly a slate of releases,
mm,
and if you look at it, it has games that were not released, right? Right off the gate, you see Starfield is here, which is coming this year. It hasn't released yet. Redfall is also here. It didn't release in 2022. It's gonna supposedly release in 2023. So they're hoping that. But you also have titles like, for example, Crossfire X, which a year after its launch, it's already been terminated. So this was a live service, a game, a multiplayer game, and it's already been shut down. So this one, it's done. Then you have Warhammer 40k Dark Tide, which came out, and it was also again a rush, a lot of bugs, a rocky plays. If you can play it, maybe it's fun, but if you doesn't work right, it's not that fun. So um, you don't have they didn't have any exclusive games coming in 2021, like any triple A games coming on 2022, I'm sorry. And they are banking everything on 2023, and even Phil Spencer has acknowledged this, right? In several interviews he has acknowledged that the pace of releasing video games has not been what they hoped for, and that they are gonna try to give or improve for their fans and the commitment. So there is not a lot of reasons right now to buy an Xbox or to have an Xbox. If I were an Xbox guy, I would rather just have a PC, right? Because I could be playing other stuff as well as having a Game Pass. If that's my thing. And then when you look at 2023, man, let me check the. When you look at 2023,
mm.
it's not that better, right? So if you look at this, for example, this article from GameSpot, most anticipated Xbox games, right? It's all filled with third party, right? This is a third party. Um, this is a third party also. This is a third party. So if you go down this list, Dead
Dead
Space,
Space.
it's a
It's
third
already
party.
really is
It's
already
already
on
released.
PlayStation.
Yeah,
PlayStation.
Diablo is already. If you go down, you will see only Forza,
Forza. Yeah,
which
there are all games that you can get either right now or you will be able to get them soon, if not right away in another uh, console. And I don't know, it's
it's
just
Forza. It's just Forza. We are not talking about this. It's Forza, man. It's driving cars. I'm not a fan of that genre. Minecraft Legends. Okay, it's gonna be on PS5 as well as Nintendo Switch. Good, I guess. Um, then you get Redfall. That's one of their main titles. And then if you keep scrolling, you're gonna get to Starfield eventually. And so 2022 was quiet. 2023 it's not that louder. It's just slowly better.
yeah,
Slightly
but
better. I don't
still
know.
the problem will be, are they going to release, because they already pushed those games? What do we have to go by, so we trust them to actually release them in
And
this
even
year?
yeah, and to your point, Steve, even if they do release, we don't have any way to know that these will be good games, because these. Let's start by saying these are new franchises, and new franchises are tough. You are not
Hmm.
always going to land a new franchise. Look, for example, for Project Calypso. I'm sorry. Um, it was hyped as a new IP, right?
Right.
But it didn't land it, right? And you have many examples of those, and it takes time for a developer company to put out a new IP and to make it a success, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
you see like in the on the other side of the aisle in PlayStation, they have their hit and misses, right? You celebrate now Horizons, for example, being like newer faces to their IPs, but Guerrilla struggles did struggle in the past. For example, Killzone was mixed bag. They tried several Killzones until they said, okay,
Detroit. Mm.
let's just do another thing. Let's just do something new. And they did Horizon, um, the first one, and it landed. And then the second one. Building a new IP is difficult. So no one is gonna guarantee us that Redfall or Starfield are gonna be hits and successes. And if they do release in 2023, so it's getting tough for them to release games, and so far their strategy of buying developer houses hasn't paid off in terms of quality and cadence of new games being
Yeah,
developed and yeah, released.
that can get you so far on that on one side, and also well, yeah, you can owe them. That's good, and you get a lot of talent with that, and you get a lot of with IPs, IPs that were or are successful, and that's good. But okay, so what you gonna do with them? Are you actually gonna let them do what they are supposed to, or as we talk or as we are discussing, are you gonna, manipulate them in order to do what you think is best for your own benefit?
It's complicated. Yeah, it's complicated. you know Creativity is something difficult to manufacture. On one hand, having the ability of not being worried about retail or selling is a good
Mm,
thing. It takes a pressure off these developers. For example, Bethesda, right? Bethesda doesn't have to worry about keeping the lights up, about having to put a product to sell every year just to survive, right?
mhm.
And that also can help creativity in a way, because you don't have to remake the same game just to sell. For example, that can be something. um, but also it can make you lazy, right? It can make you lazy in the terms like you don't have that edge for pushing boundaries.
Mm.
So it's
So
it's it's a trade-off. I don't know, it's difficult. Yeah, you have Microsoft umbrella, so they have deep pockets, and you don't have to worry about money
yeah,
in a sense. Yeah.
correct. Yeah, and sometimes that's a great point. The struggle or that need to push yourself or to let yourself known uh, breaks the boundaries or what's been established as successful, and and actually that puts you to think about uh, yeah,
Yeah.
you are in that safe haven. Everything's gonna be all right because I mean it's Microsoft at the end of the day, so
Yeah.
whatever. You have a huge billion-dollar brand. Just okay, I know my paycheck is gonna come.
Yeah, no matter what, even with these 10,000 layoffs, right? Which
Yeah,
it definitely
exactly.
sucks for all developers, and I am in the industry, and I know that. But yeah, it's a trade off, I think, and so far it hasn't paid off as Phil had hoped for. Maybe it will pay off in the future after they understand how game production really works, and creativity really works in this industry. It's a difficult industry. It's different from just software development. But maybe they over time. But right now, the what I would say in terms of game development is stagnant. Is coming really really slow, and they are relying as a platform uh, on Game Pass, right? On having this great service, because it is this great feature, and just selling that, which is just PC or Xbox, and yeah, it's great value for your money.
Yeah,
um
it's
but
insane. The value you get for that money is just it's unlimited. No matter if you use it or not, it's like a gym membership because yeah, you got the gym. It's up to you if you use it. You most of the time you're gonna end up paying it no matter what, especially because it's not that expensive. So it's gonna be sitting there in your card, just ranking up those numbers, and it's gonna keep building up, and that's money for the company.
yeah, yeah, that's money for the company. And so it's but they haven't invested in all these developer houses just for for the Game Pass, right?
Hmm.
Their value proposition is to have, and they are investing heavily, and this is their gamble, is to have their own IPs, their own exclusives, right? Which is what Nintendo and PlayStation does very well, is having their exclusives, which draw people to their platform, right? That's why Nintendo
Hmm.
is Nintendo, and that's why PlayStation and Sony is Sony, right? And they want to do that, and so far it's been a struggle, and they are depending solely, I think, on that, in that Game Pass big money, right? And talking about investment, man, you we mentioned it. You mentioned it a little bit earlier. We have the huge investment, one of the
Hmm.
biggest one in this industry, and it's the Activision Blizzard merge or acquisition, I should say, which they announced almost 1 year ago, if you believe that, and that is going through the regulatory process, and it's been rough, let's say, for Microsoft. Yeah, to say it lightly. I think, I don't know if you got this sense, but at the beginning 1 year ago, they thought that this was going to be just a
A
walk in
walk
the
in the
park.
park. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I thought the same thing. Work in the park, man. Just like,
I got the
okay,
money here. Gonna buy you. All good.
oh, good. Yeah, that was it, right? It was like, I have the money, take it, just give me your IPs, give me your 9,000 employees, and let's make money. And first you had the European
Hmm.
regulatories start to saying, hey, wait a minute, we're gonna look at it. And then here in the US, the FTC started to pay attention also to what was really behind this acquisition. And I want to focus our conversation in this of this merge in the, what for me is the crown jewel of Activision Blizzard, which is a money printing machine.
Hmm.
And then we come back to what it's going on in the lawsuit. But they are buying Activision Blizzard because of two things, and that's number one, Call of Duty. Number two, Call of Duty Mobile. That's it. That's it. You have to see it. Best selling game in the United States. Number
Yeah.
2022, Call of Duty. Best selling games in the United Kingdom, FIFA, and then Call of Duty. You know, worldwide, I think it's like one or two, something like that, depending on where you have your data from. It's Pokemon or Call of Duty, but Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and this is not the mobile version, just the Modern Warfare 2. It's huge, and it's almost yearly release. It's the best selling game in the industry, and the best and the monopoly of first person shooters.
Yeah,
Am I
Call of
wrong,
Duty.
or
Yeah,
is
Call
that
of
the truth?
Duty always has been. No matter what, yeah, you think, oh no, this is gonna be the best game of the year. Yeah, most likely X or Y game are gonna be the best, but in numbers, because that at the end of the day, that's how these companies see these games. Who's the one to sells the most? As you said, most depending of the region, the country, or the area, it's gonna be either Pokemon or it's gonna be a FIFA game. but most, like 9 times out of 10, is gonna be a freaking Call of Duty, no matter what. This game, I don't
No
know
matter
how
what.
I don't know. I play it.
We
I got
played.
my,
I
yeah,
love it. I love it. Back in the day, I used to love it.
yeah,
Definitely.
and I had an amazing time with Black
Yeah.
Ops, but
Black
the
Ops.
original Black Ops, and this is a really old game by today's standards. I'm talking like 2012, 14, but
Something like that, yeah.
then these yearly releases non-stop, and the most amazing thing is that they always rank first. That's just insane,
It's
because it's a
insane.
game that you know is coming, but but you also know that it's gonna be the most uh, sell game of the year, and that's
The,
those are like just they should see, they all of them should sit down and like, okay, so we need to make some money. Okay, just release another Call of Duty. That's what we
it
gotta do.
it's amazing. It's even no matter if you are the game of the year like Elden Ring, no matter if you are acclaimed like God of War, no matter if you are Pokemon, because you're Pokemon, you're gonna be fighting with Call of Duty. And when you get to the FTC, coming back to the lawsuit, this FTC regulatory process, what they are trying to cover or protect the consumers is from having monopolies, right?
Mhm.
So when they start to study these acquisitions, what they are worried about is to setting up a landscape where a monopoly can occur, right? And Microsoft buying the best-selling game and the best-selling FPS is definitely something to take a look at it, right? And obviously, Sony has raised their hands. Google did too, but I don't know why. But yeah, Sony said something about, okay, we are not okay with this acquisition, obviously, because many people buy their platform, PlayStation, to play also Call of Duty in that
Mm.
platform. And if you take Call of Duty from that platform, as it will happen, and Phil Spencer said, okay, we'll give you 10 years to build another Call of Duty. It won't happen. They already tried. They already tried with Killzone. Battlefield has been trying that for years, and they haven't
Yeah,
been able to do so. So there's no guarantee that in 10 years Sony or anyone else is going
yeah.
to come up with
They even
another
tried it
competition.
with Resistance. They have tried it for many years, and
Resistance, yeah, I
Call
remember that.
Call of Duty is Call of Duty. That's it. That's how it is. There was three FPS at one time, and one of them died. One was Call of Duty. The other one was Battlefield, that's still alive and somehow
Trying,
kicking.
yeah, trying to live. Yeah, trying to live.
Yeah, he's trying to swim like a newborn. And there was Medal of Honor, and that disappeared out of everywhere. They tried recently, well, a few years back, I think they tried again, but it didn't happen at all. So it's obviously it's a market that already has their established faces. So you gotta be really confident to try to compete with them. It's like releasing a new FIFA. Like, why? How?
Yeah, there's no one that can compete with FIFA in that genre. In the same way, there's no one that can compete with Call of Duty. Call of Duty, it's on itself, it's already a monopoly for the FPS genre, but it's on a third party. It's on a third party right now, developer as Activision Blizzard, so that's why it's okay. But Microsoft buying it, it's raising some alerts. So the FTC is suing this merger. They say that there's gonna be some compromise with Microsoft. What I am thinking is that 10 years is not gonna cut it. So or either Microsoft will have to make a deal like for, I don't know, 20 years of releasing Call of Duty on PlayStation, or a life, or for life, which I don't know if will happen. Or The more like extreme case, which I don't see this happening, but some people are talking about this, is removing Call of Duty out of the question. So, uh, in that scenario, Microsoft would be buying Activision Blizzard without Call of Duty. That means they will be buying only all of Blizzard stuff, right? They will be buying some of their mobile, and Activision also has, for example, Crash Bandicoot,
Candy Crush
Candy
and
Crush, and all, and that's a lot of money. Candy Crush, and yeah,
yep.
they will be buying still a big company, but that's an option, right? But Call of Duty will have to be separate, spawned into a separate company, just for itself. So that's on the table. That's what people are speculating. Either a bigger time frame for Call of Duty to be released on other platforms, or just Call of Duty being off this deal, which would sucks for Microsoft, but they are still getting a huge company on Activision Blizzard, which has a lot of IPs and a lot of talent behind them still. So we'll see, but this is not going also as well as they thought. And this is going slow, and it's gonna be a long journey, right? It's gonna be a long journey for them still to be able to acquire this company, right? And just to close off, right? The dude, the CEO, he himself acknowledged, right, that they're not going as they will hope so. He's never gonna say that they're going bad,
Nah,
because
nah.
they are making money. So
Yeah, at the end of the
don't
day, they.
yeah, don't be mistaken. This podcast is not to sell that. It's not to tell you that Xbox is dying as a company.
Nah.
Xbox is making money because of Game Pass, and he knows that. But he knows that it's not in the best position to compete right now, and they have not been performing as their competitors have. So, anyway, you can compare Xbox to Nintendo or to Sony, they are not doing so well, and he has said it so. Also, it's not a shame to recognize that there has to be more, as this headline is saying. So, hopefully for fans of this platform. But let's talk about the future, man. What do you hope, or what do you see for the future of Xbox,
Well,
as a company, and as a platform, let's say, also.
as a company, I think, but yeah, I've been playing the same game since like, yeah, Brian, hi Mary, shout out to also Memo, and Brian saying that he's been playing the same games. Yeah, and oh, I don't know what you play actually, but yeah, most likely if you're still stuck in those games, you're gonna be a Call of Duty or maybe a FIFA. I don't know. You tell me. But going back to Microsoft as a company, I think they're gonna do well no matter what. They're gonna keep their Microsoft is not going anywhere. They are here to stay. They already established their place in the market. They enter a market that it was pretty much only for two companies back when they entered. It was just Nintendo and PlayStation. And it's funny because going back in history, Nintendo is responsible for creating PlayStation, which is weird. But they enter the market against all odds. They survive and they still here and they have their huge market share, which is amazing. So they're not going anywhere. As for the console and games, my only worry, and this is gonna happen no matter what, is gonna consoles are bound to stop existing.
Oh,
They are. At least
do
I
you have
think.
another hour? Because
Yeah, I know what that's. We can talk about that later. But I think they are gonna stop. They're
maybe
gonna stop
Xbox
producing.
as let me say, maybe Xbox as a console will stop existing. I think, and
Uh,
I think it makes sense for Xbox, or for Microsoft as a company, because they have a Game Pass and they have PC, right? They have PC is already their platform because they sell their OS. So yeah, their
Mm.
operating system with Windows is everywhere, and they can sell through that system to the masses, right? It's
Mm.
not the same experience as the console because the console is thought to be more of this couch experience, like you are relaxed, you are kicked back in your sofa and your couch, and you are playing in your huge 70 inches TV, right? That's like the console experience, while the PC experience is more like you are engaged in your desk and you are like focused on your game. You know, it's two different. That's
It's
why
different.
that's why I think that maybe consoles won't disappear. Maybe they will change as maybe some
As a
Stadia.
different medium,
Yeah,
right?
maybe Stadia or someone, Nvidia or
No,
someone deciphers
study
the way.
already died.
Yeah, Stadia already died, but something like that. I mean, like someone
No,
cracks the code of
I get where
cloud
you're coming
gaming
from,
to your TV,
and
but
and I'm not saying that they're gonna disappear like in the next 5 years or something. That's gonna eventually. I don't know. I don't know even if in our lifetime. Who knows? But I think they're bound to stop because Microsoft did something really hard, and is that they establish the Game Pass system and they establish it in a successful way. So you know how these things start. They just need someone to take the bullet. They took it and they already said like, okay, this works, and the other companies are gonna be watching, and you're like, that those guys did that, we can do that. Let's tweak here and there, but let's make it our own, and they're gonna be launching eventually their own version of Game Pass, or at
uh,
least
and
try.
and they have tried, and
Mm.
PlayStation is trying with their new
Hmm.
no one understand whatever PlayStation Plus, but you know it's I see it, I see a comparison to Netflix in the same like
Hmm.
Game Pass is the Netflix of video games, but
Exactly.
Netflix didn't kill going to the movies. You know, people
Hmm.
still will
Okay.
always go to the other type of experience, the huge one, like because that's what the movies is. It's the big screen, and for me that's like the console experience is having your big screen in your sofa and relaxing and playing your video games in that way. So I think for Microsoft it makes sense that in the future maybe Xbox Series X is XS or whatever. It's their last console,
Mm.
and they would then they focus only on producing video games and releasing them into their Game Pass, which is awesome. and and it makes sense from a business standpoint because they are selling this hardware at a loss, right?
Yeah, they
They all
already
do.
established us.
Yeah, they all do. PlayStation and Microsoft, they all sell their consoles at a loss just to establish a platform to then sell you the video game or the Game Pass in Microsoft cases. So why don't you just cut the Xbox, which it's not winning over PlayStation anytime soon as a console, and just win where you know you can win, and that's on Game Pass and delivering Game Pass, and then deliver your own IPs and your own stuff, right? That can still work, and then you will force people that hasn't do it, haven't do it to buy your Game Pass, to buy your service, and buy and experience your video games that way. I think that makes sense for them, and I wouldn't be surprised if in the next generation we don't see an Xbox, or maybe in two the generations down the line we don't see an Xbox console, but we obviously will have the Xbox platform through the PC and through Game Pass. I
Hmm.
think so. I wouldn't be surprised if that's their future, because they need to focus in something, right? And they do something well with Game Pass. Um, Sony does something well with their exclusive and their platform. They know how to do that because they have been doing it for a long, long time. Same as Nintendo. They know how to make their games. They know how to pander to their audience and how to generate new audiences and stuff like that. So they know how to do the console gig. Maybe you can just know how to do the subscription thing, because Japanese people do not understand internet. That's something I learned
They
this year,
yeah. No, I
this
think
week.
you got your taste of it. They do not understand how the internet works, and
And
you
American do. So
exactly.
maybe this
And
is what you do.
and neither of us has a Nintendo Switch, but if I know something is that the Nintendo Switch online store or service in general sucks. And the worst part is that you have to pay for it as well. So you're paying for something that barely works or is barely functional. They don't understand. They keep using faxes for everything, and they do as well in the United States. But there is like I don't know. It's a kind of religion. They believe in paper so much that Dunder Mifflin from the office will be making millions if they have an office over there. But I don't know. It's weird. But is they and you know this from watching anime. You know Crunchyroll that is basically one of the only
Oh,
on the only platforms now connect
it's
your dots. You see what's going on here? You
it's the
already
worst. It's the worst service. We have Crunchyroll, we have HBO, we have Disney, right? We all have this community, but that's the worst streaming service I have ever seen. It looks like it was made like from some college kids in a project, like
huh
at the end of the semester, and they had to do a streaming service as a project, and that's it. That's Crunchyroll.
huh
It sucks as a
is
platform. Yeah.
they don't understand how the internet works. It's weird, and I can talk about this even more.
Yeah, we
Is
have that time.
weird. It's weird, but yeah, we gotta wrap it up. But it's the future is gonna be an interesting place, to be honest.
It's too honest. Yeah, yeah. I think we can wrap it up there. That's the state of Xbox. Hopefully, for the sake of the fans and the consumers of their IPs, things will start shaping up better, having a better pace of game releases, and we'll see what happened with the Activision Blizzard merge. But for the time being, um, don't forget to follow us. Where can they follow us? Steve.
You can follow us at OnlyFillers either in YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram actually, and we got a lot of content. We share stuff here and there, news that you can get maybe some taste of. So please follow us. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave your comment down below. Share this video with someone like up. Or and also you can also follow us obviously on Spotify if you prefer that just audio experience. We're also there. So
Yeah.
find us in the link below.
Shout out to the streamers right now, everyone on the live stream. Thank you for joining us live, and we'll see you on next week. Don't forget that we are also doing the reviews on The Last of Us. Those are gonna come out hopefully every Monday. It's gonna be a short video or something like 30 minutes, something like that. So um, look for that in our YouTube feed and in our um, also in our Spotify feed. So with that said, peace.
Take care everyone.